Welcome to Gerald Khalil's Conversation Piece. I share my thoughts on social content in sports, politics, and entertainment. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Well, a new season means new drama when it comes to the WNBA. And if you haven't heard, there's been a lot of fallout on the Caitlinclark foul on Angel Reese and Reese's reaction to it. My take was that it was strictly a basketball play and that the foul definitely didn't justify the reaction from Reese and that it's time to move on. Well, many people gave their opinions, including former ESPN analyst Robert Griffin III. He said that Reese hated Caitlinclark and not as a basketball competitor, but as a person. His opinion was not received well by current ESPN analyst ryanclark, who gave his retort. I'm paraphrasing, but he stated that RG3 joined others by making Reese the villain and feeding into the racial divide. Now, after that, there was some back and forth between Clark and RG3, and RG3 claimed that Clark was attacking his wife and family. But let's hear what RG3 had to say, then ryanclark, and then I'll give you my opinion.
So where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlinclark and Angel Reese. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlinclark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball? Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament and WNBA viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to Caitlinclark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas, just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. I want y'all to realize that." Now, I heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy?
To being able to read the expressions of a person and know their intent, know their character, know their perspective. But he does understand hate, because I think he also understands the hate of self. When you look at the play, which is all we can speak to as professionals, all we can speak to as analysts, Angel Reese pushed one of her teammates. Caitlinclark had a hard foul, which is part of basketball. I feel like it was assessed correctly. And Angel Reese's reaction is the sort of reaction you get in a situation when you feel like you took an intentionally hard foul. That's competitiveness. That's rivalry. That's not hate. And so now, though, when RG3 jumps on to the hate train or to the angry train, and now follows along with what we saw from Keith Olbermann, what we saw from Dave Portnoy, as they poured on to Angel Reese to make her the villain in Caitlinclark's heroic or hero story. Right. The one thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what Black women have to endure in this country, about what young Black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlinclark's rise and ascension into stardom. Now, when you look at it, I think A'ja Wilson is the face of the league. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the league. Caitlinclark is the most important player in the WNBA. And a ton of her fandom has come along with some racial bias or some racial pieces to why people love her so much. And so now if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women. You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what Black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece, his wife is in the back amening and clapping. And so to me, it's just another situation that now this young lady has to deal with. When I worked with RG3, he would make all of these sort of corny jokes about milk and how much he loved it and how important it was. And he always points out on social media the color of his wife's skin, as if the color of her skin is what makes her special, as if the color of her skin is what makes her a good wife. I've met the lady, I've had a conversation with her. Right. I think she's more than that. But it also leads to what Black women deal with a lot from Black men who have chose to date or marry outside of their race. They always feel like they have to go the extra mile to prop up the woman that they're married or the woman that they're with over Black women by denigrating Black women. I feel like we should have an opportunity to move past that and understand that Angel Reese can be great in her own right, as Caitlinclark is as well. Caitlinclark is a likable and lovable superstar. She pays homage to the stars of the past. She pays homage to the Black women that have come before her. And now she is carrying the mantle forward. So there's no need to pin those two against each other and paint them based on stereotypical tropes. And I think this is what I'd like RG3 to know, that no matter how much he continues to echo the microaggressions of racists, he'll be no less Black than me.
First, RG3. He has some good points, especially the file by Alyssa Thomas. But all of the head wagging with the wife in the background while he presented his argument, it wasn't a good look. Now, ryanclark, he made some good points also. Now, did he mean or need to mention RG3's wife? He probably crossed the line there, but I don't think he did it with malicious intent towards his wife. It was more towards RG3. And if you followed RG3 in the past, you will probably agree that a lot of what Clark said about him is true. Now, what's my thoughts? I think without a doubt, RG3 fed into the racial divide, whether it was intentional or not. There's a segment of people who want this divide between Reese and Clark to continue, and most of it's from the media. And they love their hot takes in order to get clicks and views. And it's sad that this type of irresponsibility gives fuel to the racists who are only using Caitlinclark and Angel Reese as vessels to channel their hate. Am I expecting things to be perfect? No, not at all. I am expecting the media to be more responsible in their delivery. Then again, maybe I'm expecting too much. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.